Good morning, everybody. This is part 2. So, what is narcissist flooding the zone? Okay, so let's take the narcissist part off and just use flooding the zone. You can flood any zone, but how do you flood the zones? What is the strategy of flooding the zone? And you'll notice narcissists do this a lot too. The purpose of flooding the zone is to disorient your opponent. Who is your opponent? Anybody that doesn't agree with you. Anybody that does not allow you to control them. Anybody that, remember, in the narcissist world, what is wrong is right and what is right is wrong. And those people that do not fall under my control, are my opponents, are my enemies. If you sound like you know what you're talking about, because they're intimidated by strength. But they take your strength to try to make your strength look like a weakness. They try to make it look like they turn it into kryptonite, when in actuality, your strength is their kryptonite. And so they'll flood the zone by trying to disorient you or throw you off kilter. How do they throw you off kilter? By overwhelming the sensory. So it's an overwhelming of the sensory, or sensory overload. It's doing a lot of things at one time to get you off kilter. It's almost like, you ever watch that game where they're like hitting the little hedgehog thing, but the bigger picture is in the background, but you're chasing these little foxes. You're chasing little foxes, or in other words, you're fighting all these little battles, but you're forgetting about the entire war. And so you're so focused on these little battles that you're forgetting what's happening, the big war that you're fighting. So you're chasing these little foxes in these little foxholes, but you're forgetting the bigger picture. The narcissist likes to, get you focused on the right hand so you don't know what the left hand is doing. Get you focused on all these little things to get you overwhelmed in emotions to a point where you lose hope. You give up. Remember the experiment back in the day, where the dogs lost hope? Where they put the experiment, was and it's I can't think of the word right now, I'll think of it later, but where the dogs were in the cages and they had the electric cage at the bottom, and what has learned hopelessness, but they turned on the electricity and the dog was able to jump out. But then if they put them in the cage, where no matter how many times they turned on the electricity, the dog would fight and eventually realized that there was no hope. And so when they took the cage back off, the dog stopped fighting because it seemed as if, there was no hope. So they had learned to be hopeless. So even in situations where there was an answer and there was an escape, the dogs just gave up. And that's the same thing when you are using flooding the zone. You can flood the zone in the legal system. For example, the narcissist will get you into a legal system, and some of you have experienced it. They get you into a legal system where all of a sudden they start filing all these frivolous lawsuits against you, or they want you to get a mental health examination. You are an unfit mother or father. They throw all this stuff out there, and they're pulling on your finances as well, because if they can drain you of your finances, you can't really fight. And so what do? You give up hope, and you kind of give your kids over to that narcissist without fighting, because you have lost hope. And that's that flooding the zone in the legal system, or flooding the zone in the legal system, meaning that there are so many things that they're doing, and you can look at it even outside of romantic relationships, outside of marriages or partnerships or whatever, and look at it in a business realm or leadership realm, where they're flooding the zone, where what they're doing is they're causing you to go and file so many lawsuits that after a while it overwhelms the court systems. It overwhelms the court systems to the point where they're doing something in the background that you know nothing about, because they broke your focus. You can't have your focus broken, because you'll start focusing on all this stuff right here while they're doing all this stuff right here. And narcissists are capable of doing that, because if they know how to break your focus, what is detrimental to you? What is at the heart of what you desire? What is it that you want? Remember in the first video where I was talking about John Douglas, where he was talking about the 3 major strategies that that they use, and that is manipulation, domination, and control. But what is the best way to do it, especially if you are in a position of power? Is flooding the zones. Where are you flooding the zones? You're flooding the zones at the heart of what people desired the most, or people that need it the most. You know, what do narcissists do? They go after the people that they think are weak. They go after the people that they think are uneducated, because they always assume that everybody is uneducated. They always assume that everybody is dumber than they are. And what do they need? They need flying monkeys. Where's the best place to find flying monkeys? The best place to find flying monkeys is those people that are just as corrupt as the narcissist is. So when you're going into the court systems, the legal systems with a narcissist, what do they normally do? They find a lawyer that is just as corrupt as they are, or they think the same way that they are. And what does that narcissist do? They may give them a lot of money. They may pat them on the head. They may flood them with emotions about how great they are, and I can trust you, and they give you a little money under the table, you know. So they find out that you're corrupt too, then they know that they can buy you to get you to do what they want. They have your they bought your loyalty. Then they go into the court systems. They may find judges that are very similar to them, that are just as corrupt as they are. They find those weaknesses to see. They pick and see whether or not you are just as corrupt as they are, and then they pull you in. Those are those flying monkeys, because those flying monkeys are looking at them like, what can I gain out of it? And the narcissist is looking at, well, how can I buy you? How can I pay you for your services and your loyalty? How can I pay for your loyalty? And they gather these people around them, whether it comes to legal people, whether it comes to people within the court systems, whether it comes to people, you know, in the business world. They find people that are very similar to themselves. But one thing that I can tell you, and I've talked about this before, two narcissists cannot be in control at the same time. You'll always have one that's more dominant than the other. And you have one that may have something that the other one would just wants or desires. And so the other one may dumb down a little bit to get what they want. But it may be the dominant narcissist that will bow down for a moment to get what they want out of this person. And that person, who is the flying monkey, also may be a narcissist. Maybe that flying monkey will cause havoc. But they'll get that flying monkey that will do the dirt for them, that do all the corrupt stuff for them. And then what they'll do is they'll back up like, I didn't know anything about it. Oh, but they play innocent, because they're using that flying monkey. And sometimes those flying monkeys are other narcissists. But always remember, there's only one dominant narcissist. And that narcissist will allow, you know, they'll give the word out. They'll give, you know, to the lawyers, to the people that you work with, to loved ones, to family members, to those flying monkeys. And they talk about what they desire. And those flying monkeys to stay in good graces, because they may have fame, money, they may have attention, whatever it is, they'll go 100,000% in to be loyal to that narcissist, because it's something that they want from that narcissist as well. But once that narcissist is finished using them, and if that narcissist, that other narcissist, or that flying monkey starts gaining more momentum or more attention, or they figure out, that narcissist finally figures out or realizes that there's nothing else that I can get from you, now you're making me look bad, then they'll turn on them. They will turn on them. Those that are loyalists to that narcissist, whether it's the lawyer, whether it's friends and family, once they figure out there's nothing else that I need from you, they turn on them and they take their rightful place as they're in the background being dominant, but they are the dominant one. So when it comes to two narcissists, there's only one that's dominant, and they'll allow you to feel like you are powerful. They allow you to feel like you're in charge, but in actuality, they're the puppet master in the background. They allow people to think that this flying monkey is crazy and this narcissist has no control, but that narcissist has all control and knows everything. Always remember that. So flooding the zone to overwhelm people, to maintain control, to overwhelm people, emotionally overwhelm them in different areas and aspects, to maintain control. Remember, everybody is a rival. Everyone is opposed to the narcissist in their mind. And so they will do things to overwhelm them in any aspects. The legal systems, you know, in rules and policies, in your life, in your family situations. They do whatever they can to throw you off. And they do it at rapid speed. That's why it used to be called, in World War II, it's called Blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg. Lightning speed war, you know, propaganda, all that good stuff. Well, you'll find that even on the lowest level in relationships, in situationships, in jobs, in leadership, you know, everything is rapid fire to throw you off and to make you begin to feel hopeless. Like there's no hope, that there's nothing but listen. I know some of you guys are maybe Bible scholars or not, but in the Bible it says, don't be fooled, God will not be mocked. So what a man sowed, that is what they reap. Some of you guys call it karma. Some of you say what comes around goes around. I promise you, you know, I've seen it. I've seen it, and it's going to happen. Even in your own personal situations. Trust the process.